If you are a follower of the way, if you follow the same Jesus Christ that saved us from our sins, then you may feel convicted of this video. Let's check it out. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Blue, and this is the channel where we find the truth, seek understanding, and be the light. Let's just go ahead and dig right into before we get to real quick, just to make sure we're on the same page. There's even some Christians that don't even know what conviction means, the term conviction. So we talk about conviction. It's a form of declaration by someone is guilty of a criminal offense made by a verdict of a jury or a decision of a judge or a court of law. Now, when we talk about this in a biblical sense, when we talk about conviction, it's kind of the same thing. I want to say criminal offense, but an offense. So when we talk about conviction in a biblical sense, in a Christian perspective, it's you should be doing something, but you're not, or you're doing something and you shouldn't. So that's kind of where we come with the term conviction in a Christian sense. Now, why do I say that? Let's just go ahead and watch this video. And if you are of the faith, let me know in the comment section if you feel convicted after this video or not. Let's check it out.
I've never seen you go to a church.
What do you mean I do? I go to church every Sunday. That's why we can't do the show on Sunday mornings.
Do you really go to church every Sunday morning?
Have I missed? How many Sundays have I missed, McCone? McCone knows.
I mean, none.
Sometimes he comes and watches the dog.
Are you kidding me, dude? You go to church every Sunday?
What do you...
Okay, stop.
Not if we're on the road.
So he's confused. I don't know these guys. This is Punchline BF. I don't know who's Punchline. I don't know who's BF. I've never heard these guys. So, okay, let's just finish.
No, stop for a second.
Yeah, we can't
stop
on the road because I don't want to go...
Stop for a second.
Okay.
May I speak?
Please.
Okay. That says a lot about our relationship.
Why?
Because you've never invited me, and you don't want me to be saved.
Do you know church is at 8 a.m., right?
So, conviction. If you guys didn't feel the conviction, then I guess you invite everybody to the church. Maybe they go, maybe they don't. For a lot of people, I know this for a fact, for a lot of people, they're going to feel this. And it hurts because when somebody that's not a believer says that you don't love me because you don't want me to be saved. Now, he could just be joking. I haven't seen this full interview. So I don't know whether he was joking or not. But this is critical because if you see this gentleman, I don't know what his name is. When you see his posture, you can really tell that he's kind of getting offensive or he's kind of getting on the defense. He's building up his wall, or at least from my perspective, he's building up his wall. Let's check right here.
Are you kidding me, dude? You go to church every Sunday?
And you could tell right here, it's like, so what does that have to do with anything? That wall starts to build up. Where is he going at? He's going to go ahead and talk about my faith, just like all these other people, probably because of the things that they be talking about. Oh, bad friends, BF. What? Bad friends? Okay, I don't know. But that's that posture of being in defense when people's talking about what you believe in. It tends to be that posture.
What do you...
Okay, stop.
Not if we're on the road.
No, stop for a second.
Yeah, we can't on the road because I don't want to go...
Stop for a second.
Okay.
Oh, okay. He doesn't want to talk about it because he probably knows he's probably going to say something. He thinks he's going to say something outlandish and crazy.
May I speak?
Please.
Okay. That says a lot about our relationship.
Why?
He's good. I don't know. Maybe this is just the way that he normally is towards him. That's probably like the persona that they have on this podcast. But just to hear somebody say that, it's just like, yikes.
Because you've never invited me, and you don't want me to be saved.
You don't want me.
Do you know church is at 8 a.m., right?
Now, granted, church 8 a.m. is very early. But guys, this is the thing. This is stuff that we as Christians should be doing. We should be more adamant about and more vigilant about preaching the gospel. And it says this in the Bible time after time after time. Let's go ahead. You guys know I got to bring up the verses. Let's go ahead and bring up some verses. The Great Commission. that Jesus had given us, all of us, to do as he was talking to his disciples. Matthew 28:19-20. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you. And behold, I am with you always to the end of the age. In Luke 19:10, Jesus says, for the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost. So in regards to the way that we should be with everybody, we should be vigilant about bringing everybody to Christ. Now, we're not saying to sit here and beat Christianity in them, because at some point God's going to reveal to them the truth. Is going to be up to them whether they accept it or not. We are just simply supposed to plant the seeds of truth. And what better way to do that than invite them to church? I mean, you could start with conversations, but you got to bring them amongst the community to understand that we're not all crazy people. We're not all just trying to beat the Bible in people's heads. We're not all just out here trying to, well, we are trying to separate ourselves from the world, but we're not trying to say that everything that's happening in the world you just cannot be a part of. You're stuck in there. We're not Jehovah's Witness. We're not Mormons. None of that. And that's a whole different situation. But as Christians, as people of the way, we should be willing to guide people. We should be willing to talk to people about the way, and we should be willing to show the people the community of the way. Now, if you're embarrassed of your church, that's a completely different situation. Maybe we need to have some conversation with our church members if you're embarrassed to have people come to the church. I don't know. Or maybe the way that your faith is, I mean, that could just be another meaning of, in order for you to truly serve, truly commit in, you may need to be at a different church that just does things differently. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Let's check TikTok on some viewpoints in regards to inviting somebody to church or being invited to somebody's church.
Boaz has some relatives, and if you don't watch it, you won't get the one God has for you. You'll get his relatives. To the girls, I found this on the internet. Boaz is spelled B-O-A-Z. Everybody say B-O-A-Z. And so he's got some relatives called broke ass, po ass, lying ass, cheating ass, dumb ass, drunk ass. Don't go out with him. Cheap ass. Turn to somebody and say, I dated him. Locked up ass, good for nothing ass, lazy ass, and especially his third cousin beating your ass. Wait on your Boaz and make sure he respects your ass.
Hey.
Now there's your word. You wanted a word.
Hey, look. It's very clever. That's a word right there. Somebody and apparently this is Pastor Jensen Franklin. Oh, he's in Gainesville Free Chapel. Okay. Oh, that's an interesting word right there. And that's one of those things where it's like your pastor could say something crazy that somebody may feel some type of way, may throw them off. I mean, in regards to relationships, it's always an interesting thing, especially when we're talking about Boaz and Ruth. Clearly, his topic is regards to relationships and for women to find their Boaz. Apparently, that's a thing for women to find their Boaz. But this is like one of those things where it's like, you don't know what the pastor is going to say sometimes. Your pastor be wilding out sometimes. He may say something like this and it may turn somebody off and you just don't know. So you don't even try. Check something else.
And see, Christians be fake because don't nobody talk about how scary it is to invite somebody to church and then either pastor don't be there that Sunday, we got a guest pastor, or pastor decided to go off script and do a completely just new message that day. Like this is some of the most scariest stuff because Pastor, I've been hyping you up all week to my friend. I said, you got to come to church. The church is there and pastor preaches a great message. And then we pull up Sunday and you ain't there.
You ain't there.
I don't like, I gotta explain. Harpo, who is this woman? You know, I gotta explain
Woman.
stuff that I don't need to have to explain to my friend. Or Pastor be there and then he just do a completely different teaching that Sunday that I can't, my friend ain't quite like ready to hear that type of message. Pastor talking about first fruits and my friend talking about, is he talking about watermelon or cantaloupe? It's like, no, it's not none of that. We'll talk about it later, but that is a real struggle. Can we talk about that, please?
And which brings up an interesting point when we're talking about people coming to church and hearing the pastors preach and stuff like that. There may be, and this is the part where I'm trying to figure things out. There may be points where certain pastors are needed. I noticed that over my transition between one church to another church and looking at different pastors and the way that they preach, there may be a need for some of these pastors that I may not agree with 100%. Mike Todd, for instance, everybody knows that I always have something to say about Mike Todd and his preaching. But what I've come to realize is the more that I watch, or the more that I dabble in his sermons and I look at the comments, and especially like if it's somebody else that's doing a commentary on his wild preaching or whatever, there will be those one or two people that says, I came to this church, Transformation Church, and I became saved. And as I grew in my faith, I realized I need more. And I left that church. So it's kind of a tough thing to try to navigate. Like my pastor, depending on the Sunday, he may say something that can be a little, depending on where you fall in certain topics, he may rustle up some feathers. But at the end of the day, he loves everybody and wants to see everybody become Christian. He wants to see everybody follow Christ. And there are times where he does have these sermons that are a little more lighter for the new in faith or those that are wishing to be part of the faith. But it's like, you never know. You never know some Sundays unless you have his sermon notes. But it's just interesting that he says at the end of the day, the word is the word and the word is going to be preached. And the way that it's preached is just the way that it's going to be preached. Somebody's going to hear it. Somebody's going to internalize it. If the pastor is truly of the faith, and if the pastor isn't just out here just throwing things out here, he's not just there for title, but there to actually teach Jesus's flock, then the word is going to be preached. The true word is going to be preached. And one person's either going to receive it and seek more, or they're just not and may not. But at the end of the day, you can still do plenty just by inviting people around, having small groups, inviting them to small groups even, to where we can have these conversations, then to be a little lighter setting, to where it's like they see that you're new because there's only like a couple of people here. And so they make some reservations for you in regards to the word that's being preached in some cases. And, just show how we are as a community and how we live amongst each other as a community. But interesting point.
30 more seconds.
All right, here we go. When your coworker invites you to their church, this is what you don't want to happen.
If you don't know what to do, run to a black person and hold on to him and say, help me!
Hold up. Wait a second now.
Honestly, Christian dating is its own subject. Like, can someone please explain to me, like, if a Christian guy invites you to church, is he like me? Does he want to see me again? Or is he trying to get me saved and evangelized?
Honestly, probably just trying to get you saved, but you probably just there for him. Honestly. And that's the interesting. And this is the thing that I love about my daughter. Oh my gosh. She's making me so proud. She's 19 years old, about to turn 20. Oh my gosh, just freaking nuts. So she's 19 years old, about to turn 20. And we were just having a conversation. And because, she's in that phase where guys are going to start talking to her. And now that she goes to school, it's practically impossible for guys to not talk to her. And I told her this way before she went to college. And I told her this when she was about to start going to college. And I will tell her this time and time again, even though she already knows. But it was funny because she was telling me, anytime the guy talks to me and they say they want to hang out, first thing I tell them is, oh, let me invite you to my church. And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, good job. Because you'll know. But that'll weed out a lot of them. That doesn't mean that every guy that will say yes is a good guy. For certain, that doesn't mean that. But you'll weed out a lot of them. Or you'll have a lot of them that just will leave you alone. Which is good. But at the end of the day, where your heart lies matters. So it could be both. He could like you if he wants you to go to church. And he could be wanting to, sow that seed so that, you could probably find salvation if you aren't already there. I don't know.
But them over there approached me, and said, yo, I'm gonna give you that invitation. Invitation for what, bro? They were at church. I said, bro, the only time you're gonna see me is in church, is in my fucking coffin.
And that is why a lot of people will not do it. That's why a lot of people will not evangelize. That's why a lot of people will not sit here and have conversation with people that they don't know, people that they're not close, tight knit with, people that aren't even Christians, because of responses like that. That is why. But is that a reason to not do it? No, it is not, because we live in the comfort amongst other people that are of the faith, or at least of the routine. Let's go with that. And so it's easy for us to just think that this is all that we have to do. We just come to church. This is our safe place. This is our safe place. And this is where we gather as a community. But we're supposed to bring more people into the community. And that's where a lot of us are lacking. I know, in the conviction for me, I can't remember the last time I invited somebody that I knew that wasn't a Christian to church. Let me think about that. Yeah, not off the top of my head. Now, I know that I've invited some of my friends to watch some of the sermons because they don't live anywhere I do, to watch some of the sermons online. And that could just be like, we don't know what's going to happen unless I know the series that's being talked about. But as far as like actually bringing somebody that I don't know, like my coworkers now, they know that I'm Christian, but I haven't invited them to church. One of them, he's kind of Hindu, maybe. The other one, he does go to a church, but he's kind of an anarchist. So I don't know exactly if he's just actually for the way, or if he's just, if he's just a routine goer. And another one of my coworkers are of the community. You know exactly which community I'm talking about. So it's like, I should be reaching out, but do I want to risk my job for that? That's the question. Is their lives worth risking my job? The answer should be yes, because the Lord will provide. But there's that conviction in me that's just like, yeah, just keep my mouth shut. That's what I'm dealing with, guys. That's what I'm dealing with. And that's what a lot of you, if you guys are also in this predicament, put in the comment section, please. Let me feel like let me know that I'm not alone. Let me know I'm not alone. So, and here's the scriptures in which we must remember when it comes to these type of situations, or at least when it comes to inviting people to church, or just talking to them about the word, praying for them, doing, kind things for them, whatever. We must remember this. Mark 2:16-17. And the scribes of the Pharisees, when they saw that he was eating with sinners and tax collectors, said to his disciples, why does he eat with tax collectors and sinners? And when Jesus heard this, he said to them, those who are well have no need for a physician, but those who are sick. I came not to call the righteous, but sinners. We have to remember what Jesus came to do. He came to save those who were lost. He came to save those who are sick, provide healing for those who are sick. He came to provide the truth to those that do not know the truth, those that are blind. That's what he came here for. And we must do the same. We can't just allow other flesh and blood humans just go to the wayside because we're comfortable with who we're around, with the people that we talk to on a regular. And we think that this is just what we do. We have to go and reach out to other people, especially people that we're close with that may not know the word. Even if they say no, just invite them. And if they don't want to come, then eventually, have some conversations about the word, about their faith, whatever it is, so that they know that you care for them. And a lot of people are going to think that you're just part of this Christian cult, this Jesus cult, this, that, and the third. Well, I don't see anything else in the world that is more true than the Bible, than the words that we got, than the scriptures that we have, than the found history truth of the existence of everything that's been happening in the Bible. So why wouldn't you want somebody else to know the truth? Mark 16:15 says, and he said to them, Jesus said to them, go into the world and proclaim the gospel to the whole creation. And then in 2 Corinthians 5:20, the Apostle Paul says, therefore, we are ambassadors for Christ, God making his appeal through us. We implore you on behalf of Christ, be reconciled to God. So what I want to leave with everybody today is, when was the last time you invited somebody to church? And even that, when was the last time you had a conversation about the gospel with somebody? Just an introduction. Somebody that doesn't know the faith. Somebody that doesn't know God and doesn't know that Jesus died for them. truly. They may hear of the Bible, they may hear of Jesus, they may have gone to church when they were younger, but didn't really get it, didn't really grasp it. When was the last time you helped somebody dig into that rabbit hole to seek the truth? But nonetheless, y'all, I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Take it easy. Peace.